Welcome to the Divine Mind podcast, episode number 3. I'm your host, Nico, Simply Priceless, and welcome to the latest episode of my show. Trying to decide if I want to wear glasses or not today. But nonetheless, welcome. we still trying to push through whatever type of, I'm not going to say cold, whatever type of health germ, whatever. Still trying to get that together. However, I decided that we're gonna stick with Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I decided to, well, if you can't tell, I decided to put on a little ensemble. So yes, this is still, the Divine Mind podcast. This is still therapy from the big comfy couch. However, today I wanted to put on something because I feel like it's something about putting on clothes. You just feel like, in a dictionary, I would probably be up under, cherry red. I would venture to say crimson red. Like, I would venture to say red would be, you know what I mean? Nonetheless, welcome back to my podcast. I'm your host, Simply Priceless, but y'all know that because you're here. So, excuse me as I try to navigate through whatever this is. I'm trying to get over this cold, but I could not delay y'all no longer. I couldn't stay away from y'all too long. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm in I feel like I'm in what's called a flow state. Just similar to how, I don't know. I just feel like I'm in a real good something. I call it I wouldn't say a mood, but it's more just, I'm feeling alive. I feel like, I don't know, all the feels, but I'm grateful. And to start, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, for stopping by. If you're here, I'm grateful to see y'all. I'm grateful to be seen. I'm grateful to be expanding and rebranding and shifting and aligning and all the things. And I'm excited. And I don't know. I feel all the feelings, and I think it's because the seasons are changing, and it's around the time of year when you kind of, more often than not, you're in this space of having to just think about or be in a state of gratitude with like the holidays and things like that. And for some people, it's a little different, but for me, I mean, ebbs and flows. I just feel like this is my favorite time of the year. Birthday's in October. So it's the best time of the year. But I love this time of year because, again, it's a time for us to give thanks and gratitude and to really, I feel like, recenter and reground and regroup. And I feel as though it's not enough of us that are doing that. I'm glad y'all here. And I don't feel, it's like I said this in the first 2 episodes. This is not going to be a traditional podcast. I don't even want to call it a podcast. It's a show. And I'm going to keep saying that because that feels more fitting. It's so ironic that my journey up until this point began long before the pandemic, but I started doing meditation during the pandemic, and that was 2020, 2019, 2020. So I feel like, all these years later, it's 2025 and going into whatever political season or climate or whatever is going on right now. Is since then, 5 years later, it's a really interesting, I feel like, pivot or side quest or a main quest. I don't like to call it a side quest because It's not something I'm doing on the side. It's one of the things that I do, but it's kind of all encompassing. And like I said, podcasting is something that, if you know me, you know I love sending a good voice note. You know I'll talk as long as a voice note or an IG voice note will allow. Or I don't know, I love to talk. Um, Depending. I don't know. I be having stuff to say, but I don't like to talk to everybody. But a podcast felt like the most, it just felt like it made sense. It felt like it made sense. Quite frankly, I feel like there needs to be podcasts that really are just more impactful, more effective, that are not just about gossip and nonsense. And when I say I don't want this to be a traditional podcast, I'm not necessarily knocking anybody's podcast, but I really want y'all to be more accountable of what you put into the world wide web. It seemed like when we had AOL dial-up, the internet was like taken a little bit differently because you had to work so hard to have access to the internet. But because y'all have such access to the internet and are so just misuse it and take advantage of it, it's easy for people to spit ignorant rhetoric and talk about how they feel, and it make no sense, or they just people just be saying a lot of nothing, or trying to have a look or an aesthetic. And I don't want to go off into a tangent, but my point, this is not going to be your traditional podcast. You're never going to quite know what I might say. And I feel like a lot of y'all are kind of predictable. And it's not even that I want to necessarily drag nobody, because I'm not about to, shade anyone. But y'all know the podcasts that exist that are just very much just not just nothing, just a whole lot of fluff. So I don't want this to be a traditional podcast. I don't want this to be something that dies over time or people lose interest. I feel like mental health, we are in a mental health crisis, and mental health services is something that will never go out of style. It's always going to be a necessity for it. So podcasting, for me, people are looking for things, and I encourage anybody and everybody, if you have something that you are like really passionate about or thinking about venturing into, I support you, and you should support yourself. But for me, this made sense. And similar to how I sit down and I'm just kicking back, cute, but kicking back is what I want this to feel like. I heard somebody say that they had just started their first therapy session, and it was a guy. And I was so glad to hear that, and him having such a big following. I thought that was really powerful. And I think that's great if you have a following and you're using it to be effective and you're encouraging people to get their mental health in check. But the reason I don't like some of y'all, and the reason why this won't be a traditional podcast, is because a lot of y'all are hell bent on making yourself feel better at the expense of others. I said that in the video, and I also said that I cannot relate to that type of behavior, that type of energy. It is really below me. And it's below a lot of y'all. It's like it's lowering the bar. The bar is in hell at this point. And I will refrain from using profane language, but it is literally the place in which it is. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like it's true mental illness. And it needs to be studied. But unfortunately, people spend more time looking for things to click through and to just have something to gossip about. I don't know. As for me in my house, anytime I sit down to talk, I pray, I talk to God, I figure out or try to get just clarity in my mind. But for me, it's like I keep saying, I don't want this to be a traditional podcast. I don't want you here if you don't want to be here. Here, this is my house, meaning this is my show. This is my platform. This is my space. This is my internet. Feel free to flee. But if you're here, kick your shoes off, take a load off, have a seat, don't touch nothing. And a lot of these questions are rhetorical, or you can write them down and discuss them later. However, I want y'all to introspect. I want to take whatever energy you got, whatever energy you got that's negative, I want to take it and literally throw it out. I think a lot of y'all are energetically congested, and that is a problem. And I think if people really spend more time focusing on the energy that they have and how they show up in the world, that would naturally raise your frequency, but adjacency, it will raise the frequency of those around you. I think it's not enough focus on, it's a lot of focus on manifestation, but it's not enough focus on alignment. It's not enough focus on, it's a lot of talk about us being God's little g, but a lot of y'all are not submitted. It's like a lot of y'all are calling yourselves gods, little gods. You know what I'm saying? And I have a problem with that because a lot of y'all have God complexes. You are failing. You're mentally failing and you are flunking other people. And when I talk about how y'all call yourselves gods in the Bible, and you could talk about how the Bible is flip, white, rinse, wash, repeat. I don't care about none of that. I know what I studied and what I grew up on, and you got to have some type of semblance or understanding of really what's going on. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are misappropriating the Bible and misusing and misunderstanding, and you passing that misunderstanding on to others. I always say that I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm not an evangelist. I would never be or profess to be a ministress. God knows where I am, and He knows He calls me by name, but I don't have to sit and do none of that. But I'm going to always do what India Ari said that Maya Angelou told her to do, which is to speak truth. And I think it's not enough people that are either speaking truth or that know the truth. I feel like a lot of people are so pressed to esteem themselves up higher than they are, higher than God, higher than people, because they, in some way, it's your trend of think. The minds of them are shot. I think a lot of people are too busy trying to exalt themselves above God, and because you doing that, you lost in the sauce. Y'all are lost. I'm not judging. I'm not demeaning, but I think people need to get a better understanding of who God is and who they are. Because I think a lot of people misunderstand. When you go back and think in terms of biblical or context, you see it's plenty of instances where people who idolized or made gods or graven images as representative of God and tried to put things on this pedestal. I always call it pedalizing. People try to put themselves in, I feel like, this heightened state or this like place of just like being all knowing. You not all sufficient. I don't know how to really say what I'm trying to say. I feel like people just are esteeming themselves just a bit too highly. I feel like people refer to themselves, and this is probably going to call maybe certain people's perspectives into question. However, I think people need to get out of this matrix of thinking that they are super Black Panther, like psychological, sociological, like philosophical, like you don't know everything. And I feel like a lot of people are trying to put on these personas, and I don't know, as far as the God thing and as far as like all of this, I feel like people need to get a better handle on their understanding of who God is and who they are. And I feel like people just need to make sure, yes, we are made in the likeness and in the image of God, but I don't think it's safe for us to call ourselves gods. And there's plenty of context in the Bible, in however many translations of the Bible that exist, where if you are calling something a God, you putting something on the same pedestal or plane as the God above. And it's not that it's a big guy in the sky per se, but it's like, I don't really know. I don't know. I feel like it's just, there's a lot of confusion going around. And I feel like I don't even know how I got to this topic per se. But when y'all get to talking about, you know, just everyone's a god. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Debate me. No, you're not. And in a way, it would be different if people are talking about like higher intelligence or like I don't know, like ways of like y'all just be ignorant thoughts. And a lot of y'all are talking and speaking about being is you talking about having a form of godliness and lacking the power thereof. I just think it's just something wrong with that. That just icks me. It icks me out. It pisses me off a little bit. It do. I feel like people are not living by principle, but y'all steady talking about I'm a God, he's a God. Hey. In the Bible, God killed things that people idolized that wasn't him. God may be a lot of things or may not be a lot of things, but one thing he is that I grew up learning is that he is jealous. And you could sit and debate and try to overanalyze and critique me on my thoughts and perspectives. However, you gotta work out your own pain and suffering and salvation and tribulation with God, not me. I feel like it's just I don't jam with it though. I feel like y'all got some God complexes, and then you get into podcasting and you think that it's okay. It's like you think it's cool to just say anything, and that's my problem. Some of y'all be saying anything, so I'm not sitting here trying to, make it out to seem that we don't have divinity. The name of this podcast is The Divine Mind. We all have divinity, but I think some of y'all need to kind of like tone that down because you gotta have a real understanding, and I mean like a real one. You gotta really know Psalms. You gotta know you gotta really know like the Bible in order to go so far as to put yourself on the same plane. And it's weird to me that people are quicker to idolize and put themselves on these pedestals than they are to give Jesus or whatever any type of credit or anything. Just my POV, just my opinion. But when we talk about alignment, we talk about manifestation, people gotta just make sure that they're not esteeming themselves higher than than God. I don't care what it's a lot of religions, it's a lot of sects, it's a lot of people with opinions and perspectives, and I don't care to get into that. But I just feel like y'all just gotta be careful what y'all say. Be careful what you say. Know the scriptures. I think somewhere in the Bible it says, study and show thyself approved. And a lot of y'all don't study, so you're not showing nothing. And I don't like that. God don't like that. And it's funny because y'all be spreading false prophets. Spread messages that do not coincide with the law. Not even going, like, y'all not, not my vibe, not my energy. And again, because, people are a little dense and common sense is not commonplace, it's not common. I'm not saying that we are not all divine. I'm not saying that we all don't have, you know what I'm saying? We're all very unique, divinely made, all that. But y'all got to stop thinking that y'all are like, I don't know. I feel like it's so many male podcasters that talk about this, that talk about, what spirituality is to them. And a lot of it has to do with religious abuse, spiritual abuse, emotional abuse. Like, all I'm saying in regards to that is y'all just need to get an understanding of, for real, who God is and how, just your understanding. Just your understanding. And it's not so much as about trying to religify this podcast or like sway y'all. Because quite frankly, my opinion may not matter to the masses, but it matters here. And I think the problem is that it's not enough people that's really being open-minded, or they just really going with the flow, or saying what they hear and said. But for one, I don't know. That's just my POV. Y'all just need to be a little more insightful and think about what you say before you say it. and make sure that what you are saying is rooted in fact, instead of coming from a place of ignorance. Cause y'all love to do that. And it's funny, people love to talk about how like God they are, how they are. They don't even say made in the image of God. They just esteem themselves as gods. And y'all piss me off so bad with that because you don't live God like. You don't live a God fearing life. I ain't even gonna get into polyamory, polygamy, and all of that. And I studied that in school. I know. Some of y'all just, man, the spirit of confusion is running rampant. I ain't even planning to get into polyamory and, all the things. But it's funny to me though, because a lot of people, podcasters, people, whoever, because it ain't just people on podcasts, because y'all be having millions of followers and millions of people that like idolize y'all and are enamored by the aura and the fake energy that y'all give off. But what does it for me, you esteem yourself so highly and you have such poor habits, poor health habits, poor spiritual habits, poor reading habits, poor financial habits, and have the nerve, for example, things like polyamory, polygamy, all that you need to just make sure that your spirit is right when you're going into different endeavors and dealings with people. And when you get to esteeming yourselves and getting to talking about how much of a god you are, I really want you to like really take some time and really, powwow within yourself and really introspect as to like hear the word. Do you know the meaning of these words? Because again, if you sitting up calling yourself a god, you sitting up you putting yourself in this spiritual position if you're exalting yourself above. Y'all don't even praise God. You don't even you praising you. Just y'all need to get yourself spiritually in check. So when I go now we talk about, again, we are all divine. We all have divinity within us, but I think it's kind of like a lack of awareness too. It's like the spirit of confusion, I said, is running rampant because if you want to sit here and talk about how much of a god you are, tell me your sex habits. Tell me how many people you having sex with. Tell me how many relationships you in. Tell me how many kids you got. It's just weird to me how people love to esteem themselves so highly spiritually, but they have such poor spiritual habits. It's like these relationships. Call me what you want, say what you want to, but I don't think it's meant to be. I don't know. I don't subscribe to the whole all the wives and men being, I'm not saying, of course, men, heads of households, all the things. But it's interesting to me how people be having multiple households. You can't even control and keep track of the one with 3 kids. And you starting multiple households and you esteeming yourselves, calling yourself a god, having people, call you that. Y'all just need to get yourselves together and just kind of navigate through, really, like, get it together. I think I've made my point. It just seemed like it's a lot of confusion. And just to be just be mindful, because I don't know. I don't like that though. I'm getting more and more comfortable doing the most, but just chilling. Because this is the most, the absolute most. This feel like what Mauna Leo would wear, but in pink. But yeah, my point, y'all need to tighten up. It needs to be some spiritual reality checks going on. Because like I said, again, God, believe it or not, you did not get here. It's like you didn't get here by just cellular generation. Like it didn't happen like that. Something like y'all just gotta tighten up. A lot of y'all don't know as much as you think you do. And what's funny is when we get into talk about, and it's namely men, obviously, because y'all wouldn't dare possibly believe that, God being a woman or anything like that. I'm not even gonna get into that. The feminism chauvinism. I don't care. That ain't my thing. But I just think y'all need to have a better sense of understanding and be aware of the rhetoric that you spit when you talk to other people. Because one thing about it, when someone is in a position of leadership spiritually and they are maneuvering in such a way that is mass manipulation or against the blueprint of Jesus or against God, like you going against the grain and you are poisoning the minds of people, you gonna be held accountable for that. And I know people like to talk about reincarnation, and we're going to, at some point, you're going to have to answer to somebody. Just my POV. But yeah, just be mindful of that. I ain't even mean to get into polyamory and all of that, but like, I don't know, poor sex habits. We could talk about that too, because again, we talk about like, yeah, y'all got poor habits. So just be mindful when you calling yourself a god, like, you calling yourself, you putting yourself in this higher authority position, like, and then how are y'all gonna be gods? How does that work? How does that work? Because if we are gods, who in charge? Who are we all? Who in charge? Who are we answering to? Ourselves? Who are we praying to? Each other? I want somebody to write it down and spell it out. Do the math. And then send me the numbers so I can crunch them. Because it doesn't make sense to me. And you can't debate me because this is my show. You can go in my comments, but I might block you before you can even get a chance to wait for a reply. So my thing is, yeah, that's my thing on that. But alignment, I think I was talking about alignment. Part of alignment is just having an understanding of who God is and the role that you play in like just being mindful of what you say. Alignment is being aware of your thoughts. It is implementing and sticking to your boundaries. Alignment has everything to do with the way you think. It's what I was saying in the second episode. Slave masters knew this about slaves, is that they knew they couldn't teach slaves to read, because if you could teach a slave to read, he can get it in his mind and figure out ways to maneuver. And when you get something in your mind, it cannot be taken from you. It's why if you get glocked, that you get glocked in the head, your body is going to follow. So when people talk about alignment and they talk about manifestation and they talk about wanting more and they talk about all these things, and then your lifestyle choices and the things that you talk about wanting stuff, and you talk about going, you don't need to see a psychic, you don't need a palm reader, you don't need to flip cards, you don't need to click your heels 3 times. A lot of that stuff, your subconscious is going to look for ways to confirmation bias. It's going to look for ways to confirm what's in your mind. A lot of people need to get it in their minds that they need to think positively. And when you get, everything starts in the thoughts that you think. You are no better than the thoughts that you think. If you think little, you go little. If you think weak, you go weak. If you think up, you go up. Quote, end quote, TD Jakes. That's not for me. But this is why I say you got to have an understanding of scriptures. You cannot have a form of godliness and lack the power thereof. And this is why nobody can try to check me or talk to me really about, like, you can't really kick it with me on no spiritual level. I know too much, God has done too much, and I've seen too much, and I've lived enough lives to understand who God is, what understanding I stand under, and how blind some of y'all are. And I'm sorry to say this, but y'all not being told. Because y'all are busy pumping out rhetoric, not reading, not studying, not praying, not understanding. And I got a problem with that. Because y'all raising and are influencing the lives of the kids that's going to come after us. But you want to sit here as, I know I'm not trying to single men out, but it's just weird. Because the same people that are doing the very things I'm saying are looking at me in this dress and probably wondering why I got lace on. I ain't gonna get into talking about, certain types of treatment of others, but my point, everything starts in the thoughts you think. A lot of y'all are mentally fried, and that's not a dig as much as it is like we are all kind of mentally, I don't say we all kind of mentally fried, but it's not so much, it's not set up for us to, be calm, or we always got something that we can focus on. But I think people just need to just get their minds together. Alignment is gonna have to come first from just having your mind right. Again, boundaries. I think people need to, and I talk about meditation and I talk about yoga and I talk about journaling, but I be dead serious. Meditation is one of them things that I feel like if everybody just did that a few minutes a day, it would just give people a different perspective. And I heard somebody say on 19 Keys' podcast, it was this black psychiatrist, and he had studied like African American studies or whatever. He studied like a bunch of, I gotta find that episode, but they was talking about frequencies and how we naturally can heal ourselves. But the guy was saying how if you have 500 people vibrating at a frequency of 500 hertz, that raises the frequency of everybody to the frequency of true love. And when I think about the fact that people spend more time scrolling than they do meditating, it's like, dang, it's so much stored potential. Like, what is that? Is it stored energy versus kinetic energy? Am I saying that right? God, am I saying that right? It's just like wasted potential. What was I about to say? That's why I said this ain't gonna be a traditional podcast, because I just be talking and having stuff to say. And sometimes you just gotta do that. And I look at these kind of like venting sessions, just getting stuff off, because maybe it's somebody that's just needs somebody to talk to, or needs to hear some good advice, or is looking for something that's mentally stimulating. There are not enough mentally stimulating podcasts that exist. And it's not, I don't want to shame anyone, but I want the lights to come on. Because if anyone is to feel shamed when someone is attempting to hold the collective accountable, that's a personal problem. So I'm not trying to shame anyone, but I don't know if there weren't, and it's not just podcasts, it's a lot of everything that's just negative and taking our attention away from stuff that really matters. But my hope with this is that, I don't know, I hope to affect some change. I hope to be, I don't want to be like y'all. I don't want to be regular. I don't want to just have a show that has views and people just, you know what I mean? Like, we got enough people that are, being performative and that just gossip and get paid to gossip, get paid to make others feel less than, or get paid to, like, I'm going to slap some of y'all with my notebooks. So, let's see. Journaling. So meditation, I can't really stress the importance of meditation. And one of the reasons that meditation is so important, because it helps, I want to say it helps with your spiritual observational skills. It's like, there's this book, I think it's called Seed of the Soul by Eckhart Tolle. And Eckhart Tolle is up there with like the Deepak Chopras and like the, but this is a book, I think, Seed of the Soul, where he talks about states of consciousness. And it's a lot of books that cover frequencies and all the things. But in this book in particular, I'm pretty sure it's called The Seat of the Soul. No, it is called The Seat of the Soul, but it's by Gary Zukav. Gary, Gary, Zukov, Zukov. And I think the premise of the book, because it's Seat of the Soul, and then there's this other one. I think I'm referring to Seat of the Soul. The Seat of the Soul, basically, I don't know. It talks about the significance of meditation. And The key takeaway from that book in particular is that meditation is something that a lot of people sleep on, but it's funny, it's like the easiest, quickest, when people stop looking at it like it's a job, it's really good at just helping you to recalibrate. I'm not gonna lie, I hope I'm not showing too much skin, but you know, whatever. We're gonna live on the edge because I'm not gonna hit stop. So what was I saying? Oh, meditation. So Seed of the Soul, I think it is by Gary Zukov. Ooh. Basically talks about meditation, and he goes into detail about, mindfulness, higher consciousness, subconscious, because all of those things are important. But meditation is important specifically because there comes a point in meditation where you should be able to close your eyes, sit back, and spiritually, and a lot of people don't understand that we're not just physical beings. We're spirit beings. My hand is a collection of literal cells clumped together. Look at me completely under a clear microscope. If you stick my hand under a huge microscope, you're just gonna see it's just atoms. So my point, we are more than just physical bodies. And a lot of people don't tap into meditation because they think that it's something they can't do, when ironically, if you tap into meditation, there will be no limit to what you can do. And when I talk about The Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukov, when I talk about Eckhart Tolle, when I talk about Deepak Chopra, Don Miguel Ruiz wrote The Four Agreements. And I think Don Miguel Ruiz wrote The Alchemist. So I got a list. I bring some books out over time, because that's another thing I want to incorporate as we sit here and talk. I don't want to just talk to y'all. I want to give y'all some facts. I want to give y'all information that y'all might not have been aware of, things that you may not have considered, perspectives, articles. I might break out. I like studies. I like articles. I like official documents. I like solid information. So again, going back to this book, when you get enough into meditation, you realize that all it is you sitting back spiritually, because you close your eyes so that you can turn out and tune out the physical external world, all the projections around you, because this is a literal matrix. So all the projections around you, you can shut out. And when you do that, you go internal. And when you go inside of yourself, you tap into spirit. You have to get beyond thinking that we are literally only physical. That's why when people talk about not being able to and living in fear, having fear and having faith are the same equal opposites. The belief in fear or the belief in faith, you can't see either one. So when I talk about meditation and I talk about alignment and I talk about getting your thoughts in order and casting down imaginations like the Bible talks about, it is to get your mind under subjection. It's to get your thoughts under submission. And meditation is important because, again, I hope I ain't losing y'all or that these points are not getting lost. Keep up. Gary Zukov talks about in his book, Seed of the Soul, where you get to the point within yourself and you sit within what is called your seat of awareness, seat of the soul. I should go get that book, but I don't feel like getting the Seed of the Soul. I highly recommend it because books like that open your thinking. And when you talk about meditation and you talk about this book, the premise is when you meditate enough and you go deeper enough within yourself, and that is what introspection is. That's what shadow work is. That's all that. But these are where all these terms and this terminology begins to come into play. But when you talk about meditation, it is simply the ability to observe what is going on around you. A lot of people are so numb and desensitized and distracted. That is why it's important. I think is this guy, Das Discourse on Instagram. What did he say? Like, talking about how people are able to capture people's attention. And one of the things he said was, how easy is this to get your attention? Where can I get you to look? A lot of things right now are trying and designed to grab your attention. And if it can grab your attention, it can hold your attention. And this is why you're supposed to get your mind under subjection. But a lot of people are busy running around thinking that they gods, thinking that they know more than they do. Therein lies a problem. Because if you know everything, then you can't learn nothing. And if you thinking that you God, you thinking that you higher than you are, the Bible says study and show thyself approved. Y'all not studying and you're not showing yourself approved. And I got a problem with that. Because I know, and let me go back. I know some of y'all don't be knowing what you be talking about. I know y'all be misquoting scriptures. I know y'all don't be praying. I know you don't. And that's okay. Because some of us need to be reminded. But like Joe Jackson in the Michael Jackson movie, I hope this feels like a spiritual freaking, what is it called? What is it? When he had, I think it wasn't Jermaine, Tito, Marlon, whatever it was, go get that switch off the tree outside. This is what I want that to be like. Except I wanted to really like, hopefully whip y'all into spiritual shape. So when again, I go back, again, talking about seat of the soul, seat of awareness, it is really just your ability to close your eyes and look within yourself. And instead of seeing a bunch of stuff outside of yourself, you can see what's going on. And if you do that enough times, it gets to a point where you can take what you do in the room or what you do meditation wise, you can take that from in your room into the world. And that is really the point of meditation. One of the points of meditation is, I believe, is to help you to remember who you are. It's one of those things that enables you to come back to yourself. And when people talk about manifestation and they talk about alignment, they need to incorporate meditation, because if you can't, your ability to meditate is just your ability to focus and go internal. And because we are so distracted right now, it's steep for a lot of people to remember to do that or to try to do that. But to be honest, it's a time out for people talking about the excuses and talking about how they just don't have time and talking about how they just so stressed out. Well, if you're stressed out and you got so much going on, then you need to figure out how to get your mental health in check so that you have a more balanced schedule and things are more balanced. But apart from meditation, I really hope people dive more into journaling this year. At the end of the year is when I think more people are dealing with, like, unfortunately, all types of mental turmoil, and that saddens me a little bit because it seems like kids are getting younger and younger. It seems like they're getting younger and younger, and that's crazy because it's never been more. It's such a time for people. It's like, what a time to be alive, really. But is it? Because a lot of people are feeling so alone, or feeling like they just have no options or no hope, or are just in a place of despair. That is the reality for a lot of people, but some people are just so comfortable laying in the mess that they create, or just not making changes or not growing. That's different. But to those of us who are here, first off, watching this, second of all, that's really striving for more and that's trying to really get their mental health and things together, I'm rooting for all of us. And I pray everybody finds their way, but we can't keep using excuses. It's like people saying that they don't have time to be there for their friends, but they got time for people who say they ain't got time to work on their mental health, but they got time to drink. People who say, like, it's just people saying stuff and they, like, actually, like, what am I trying to say? Tighten up. That's what I'm trying to say. And I was going to say something about friends, like consistency. Just everybody just tighten up a little bit, you know? Just tighten up. So where was I? Meditation is one. Journaling. Just get it out. That's what I was going to go into. So journaling, that's a big one. And I think, ironically, People are too busy talking about their feelings. Let me write that down. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. Ooh. Y'all too busy talking about your feelings instead of writing them down. I'm going to write that down for y'all. Stop talking. I'm dead for real. Start writing. That might be the title of this episode. Stop talking, start writing. You feel me? I'm going to tell you why. Because, for one, the more you talk about anything, the more susceptible it becomes to a demon or a devil or a hating person, a hating whore, a YN. Like, it just makes... Yeah, stop talking so much. Start writing stuff down. And if you're going to talk, pray more. People need to talk more to God, I think, is a big one. Pray more. Talk to God more. Because it's funny, you could talk to people all day and they could be taking notes in their notes app, remembering what you said, trying to figure out ways to, at some point, use it against you. Or, I don't know, everybody that you talk to is not meant to be talked to. Everybody that you talk to is not listening for the same reason. And when I talk about meditation, I talk about journaling, I talk about these things because sometimes you ain't got nobody to talk to. And sometimes you talking to people that's literally like playing with you, praying on your downfall, playing on your top. It's people that are literally like getting joy at your downfall or demise, and you sitting up pumping them with all types of information, and they just nom nom nom, no crumbs, no notes, just taking it all in. Man. So yeah, stop talking so much. Be aware of who you're talking to. Be aware of what you're saying. Now this is kind of like for two reasons. Be aware of what you're saying, because you know what I mean. You just, the day and age we in, you never really know. If you know, you know. But if you don't, or if you think you know, you might be wrong. So stop talking for one. Start writing. If you're going to talk, make sure that you're talking to somebody to trust. I'm off the rails a little bit, but that's okay. So let's see. Dang, I had a point and I kind of... God, give me my point back. I think I was talking about prayer. How important it is. Kind of lost my train of thought, but that's okay. Stop talking. Start writing. I want y'all to start talking and thinking more highly of yourselves. Like, a lot of people are talking down on themselves. Like, you talking about how much you hate yourself, how much you hate the way you hate the way you look, hate the way you sound. Everybody just need to practice positive affirmations. I was talking about meditation and journaling, but the significance is because those things enable you to get out of your mind, get out your head, turn your thinking brain off. So yeah, there's that. I don't know. Every episode, unless it's something. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to say. So here at the Divine Mind Podcast, everyone has a divine mind. Everyone here is unique, special in their own way, beautifully, wonderfully made. And although I am the one with the microphone, I really want to know what it is that y'all want discussed. And I'm so serious. I feel like we need more spaces for us to congregate and commune. I was going to say community. We need more spaces and places virtually and in person. But a lot of what we do, a lot of us are virtually connected. Like, that's just the reality. But we need to work on things. We need to just ground ourselves. We need to figure out, we need to remember who we are. we need to take more time to recalibrate. And I'm gonna keep saying this because it just seemed like that's the one thing that people are not doing. We just taking in more and more and more. But when I talk about journaling, the point in journaling, the point in meditation is because if you don't, it's like not going to the bathroom. If you don't release, you'll get backed up. And to get spiritually backed up, to get mentally backed up, oh, a travesty. But in all seriousness, it's like, I'm not going to, man, I was going to say the devil don't want you, but like, again, I'm not the Bible thumper. I'm not the one that's going to say God told me or the devil. I don't do too much of that. I do think, again, people got to have an understanding like of who God is and all the things, but like, I'm not a ministress, I'm not evangelist or prophetess. I'm just, child of God with a microphone and a wealth of experience. But all in all, I want everybody to win. And I just want us to be, I want everybody to get healthier. I was finna talk about the fact that I think journaling is probably, I don't know, I feel like we just need, I feel like my legs are too exposed. I don't know. It's too late to go back. Oh, okay. Well, dang. Yeah, I don't know. I hope my dress is not too. Yeah, YouTube better not play me, because it's very much just a whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. So I would like to know what things y'all would like talked about, what topics y'all would like discussed, what things y'all would like to know more about, whether it's ways to recalibrate, um, ways to decompress, advice. Because I would say I'm really solid at giving advice. Because everybody always coming to me for it. Well, not everybody, but yeah, I'm pretty good with giving advice. But also, I want people to feel mentally supported and just informed. And sometimes having somebody to talk to or having just being able to, you know what I mean? I can't say I respond to every single solitary. Well, I do my best to respond. Because I am asking, but I genuinely want to know if y'all have things that y'all want talked about or things that you feel like I should talk about. Yeah. All in all, though, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of doing this for the plot. I feel like I keep saying I don't want, and I'm gonna keep reiterating that, and that's just me, me for me, and to get y'all to see. I don't know. I can't say that I'm gonna have a script or like a set, way of doing stuff every week or when I sit down. I wanted this to really feel like therapy, and in a way, everything about it is therapy. I called it I call it the big comfy couch or the therapy that people are afraid to go to. But the reality is I do want it to be that for people. Cause I don't know. I just don't, it's like dang. It's like dang, there's so many people struggling. And I just hate to see it. And I know the feeling of just feeling like you don't have nobody or feeling like you don't, I don't know. I just feel like, where am I going with that? I kind of lost my train of thought. I don't know. I just feel like A lot of people are struggling right now when they don't have to. Some people just need to be taught though, because this could be somebody's first time hearing this perspective. So, it's not a place of judgment. It's not a It's literally a judgment-free zone. Because who am I to judge anybody? I got too much love in my heart to be judgmental. And really, I'm learning some of the same lessons, if not the same lessons as everybody else. I want everybody to give themselves more grace. If you don't take away nothing I said today, take away that. Like, I pray y'all start giving yourselves more grace. I pray y'all stop beating yourselves up because you don't have everything figured out or because you are not fitting into this aesthetically pleasing mold that you have somehow convinced yourself that you should fit into. That is the real epidemic that we are all facing. And I don't really know when it's like spiked, but I've seen it just seemed like, I don't know, man. I really want the best for everybody. I really just, it's just a matter of people getting it in their heads, though. It's a matter of you getting it in your mind. It's a matter of you changing the way that you think. It's a matter of changing your environment. It's a matter of changing the room you in. Maybe you in a room that's too small for you. Maybe you the smartest person in the room. Maybe you need to real life go to therapy. Maybe you need to recalibrate and figure out how to heal. Another thing I really want people to do, really, 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 is heal. Whether it's childhood trauma, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it is grief, whether it is anger, animosity, whatever it is that you hold on to that is negative or that does not serve you, it only closes your hand to things that God wants to put in them. And I hope you caught that, because I don't know where it came from. I really believe that is like a real issue. And it's so funny because we are all like, Tupac said that in one of his interviews, like, everything is just gimme, 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 gimme. Take, 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 push, 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 push. If you want to be like Trump, take, 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 like, give. And that's the problem. Like, it's just, and Tupac said that in an interview from 1998. Like, I'm pretty sure, was it 96, 98? Like, it's people who just, it's, oh, man. I want everybody to win, is what I'm saying. I want y'all to give yourselves more grace. Stop comparing yourselves. Because I think the thing about that is, I don't know, I think I'm learning not to compare myself. I heard somebody say something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't want what anybody else has because I don't want nobody else's problems. And that is that's the only, that I don't want your problems. And the thing is, I thought about this earlier. So when you, like, your journey, the journey you on, your destiny, it could actually be more impactful than the person that you are comparing yourself to. It could actually be, for you, more grand, more grandiose, more abundant, more blissful. Like, what's for you, if you were to dive into what's for you and what you want, that would be more fulfilling. Even if what you see them with seems and what maybe seemingly make you like super happy, and I think God put he really give us destinies, I believe. And I think a lot of people don't reach theirs because they are so busy striving and fighting to have something that's not theirs, or trying to be like somebody they're not, or they just don't fully believe in themselves. And I understand. However, again, like, at some point people have to really make changes and really figure out, like, people just got to really start to, I think, tap in. So, to go back, meditation to get your mind right. You need to get your mind right. You need to get your observational skills right. You need to get your spirit right. If you get your mind right, everything else will trickle down. Everything else will trickle down. Your understanding, your all that. If you get your crown chakra together, you would be surprised. And part of getting your mind right is your environment. It is what you feed yourself. It's what you talk about. It's what you ingest. It's what you listen to. It's who you surround yourself with. All of that plays a part on your mental. Spiritual, I mean, it's kind of the same. Like, everything is interconnected and connects to everything else. So again, I don't know. This ain't gonna be. I refuse for this to be a typical show because dang it, I might go off the rails. But yeah, that's. I want everybody to win, and I just want everybody to be safe and just get. I don't know. I be having so many thoughts, and I was saying this earlier before I got sidetracked. It just seemed like the kids are suffering, like the youth, and that's wild because we are so advanced and we have so many, and yet it just seemed like so much turmoil and so much distraction. But I think when people start maybe tapping into meditation, tapping into journaling, tapping into even things like yoga, I think people need to get in community with people. People need to show themselves friendly. I think y'all got to be better friends. I think y'all have to be better friends to people. Friendship means a lot in terms of mental health. And if you're a good friend, if you have a heart of gold, you have a solid character, you solid in your character, keep that. If you are love filled, if you are filled with love, if you express kindness, if you have joy in your heart, all those things, keep that. If you love on people, do not let this world make your heart cold. Don't let this world make your heart cold. Don't let that happen. However, to the rest of you, if you spitting hot fire like Dylon, if you coming against people, if you being negative, if you're not being the friend that somebody is being to you, I wish I could slap you with this book right now. Because that's a lot of y'all's issue. And this is funny as I keep saying this ain't just a podcast because I can go from loving you with the love of the Lord to want to smack some of y'all. But that's love. The love of a black woman. I'm going to hold your hand. I might slap the back of your neck. But, it's all in love. So, again, spiritually, mentally, like all of it is affected by everything else. And when I talk about friendship, man, some of y'all suck as friends. And people are so sensitive. People are so sensitive. And I know people so well that it's not going to cross some people's minds that I'm talking about true, like societally. Because some of y'all so dense and so dumb. Because I already be having to block and delete folks. So I'ma just have to accept and let go of the fact that, sometimes my points or if it would just get lost among, idiocy. But to people who care and have a moral compass that they want to actually recalibrate and figure out, I think being better friends will make the world a better place. I think y'all gotta stop talking about how you are solid. You're not solid. You're a waterbed. You suck. And I say you suck because I want you to tighten up. Friendship is a is literally a two-way highway. It ain't a bunch of turns. And y'all should be like, and alignment is, oh God, I just want y'all to tighten up as friends. Y'all not being good friends. And it's just weird because I feel like the world is so connected but disconnected because don't nobody want to show themselves friendly. As far as though the what I was just saying, if you want a friend, please be one. Do not talk about people that you claim to be friends with. Do not raw dog people that you claim to be friends with. And I'm talking about with your mouth and sexually. Do not be raw dogging the people that you be friends with. Do not be talking down on people. Don't be judging people because you fall under the same condemnation that you judging somebody for. Be more supportive. Love on folks because y'all making the world stop and stressful. Like, just be better people. Just be better friends to people. Stop telling people that you don't have time. Stop telling people that you don't have time. Because it's funny as heck to me. It's always the people that pass away or the people that, like, you find out they was going through this or they was going to, like, when people call you, pick the phone up. Pick up the phone, baby. Pick the phone up. Pick the phone up. Because it's the the gaggiest gag to me. Don't complain about, don't make complaints when you don't show up. Don't, just be better friends. Just be better people. Because y'all, like, yeah, stop. Just stop that. Y'all too grown to be acting like children. Yeah, you too grown. And I'm not talking to teenagers. I'm talking to, I mean, teenagers might be listening. But I'm talking to the 30 up. I'm talking to all y'all. But I'm saying, where I am, age-wise. So, for those that get it. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just be better friends. Be more supportive. Be there for your people. Because if you expect people to be there for you, and you expect people to show up for you, you have got to have the sense enough to do that for them. I don't know exactly what the title of this episode is going to be. And that's okay. That's okay. But I guess, I don't know. I want to hear from y'all. And I want to know if y'all are doing good. I want to know what it is that y'all want to know more about as far as psychologically, as far as how to incorporate different things mental health wise into your routine. If you just need, you know what I mean, a little bit of encouragement, you need a little bit of advice, you need a little, I don't want to say counseling because I'm going to have to set up a subscription or some subscriber list or something like that. A healthy OnlyFans. I don't know. But I cannot say, it won't be a full 15, 30-minute session. But if y'all need advice or you have something you might be curious about, no flirty. No, none. This is, business only. This is not the entry point to try to generate a conversation through fake interest because you are trying to get to know me. I do not wish to get to know. I wish to be effective. So, that being said, I hope that, I hope that we smarten up as a society. I need to smarten up. Things that I'm working on, things that I'm telling y'all to do, same thing. Well, not exactly, because some of the stuff that is being done, I can't relate to. But to those of y'all that are not being the best people, that's not being the best friends, karmic retribution is a real thing. And I think that people need to be considerate of the energy they show up in the world with. Be kinder to people. And if my mama wasn't listening to this right now, I don't like cussing in front of my mama. And these clips are going to live on. But I need y'all to bleep the bleep out. Be kinder, be nicer, be more loving. Don't. Just don't. Like, the world is hard enough. The world is hard enough. You ain't gotta be screaming. You ain't gotta be screaming free this, free that. You ain't gotta be doing all that. You don't have to do that. But it should be what you should consider a moral obligation, a spiritual obligation to be kind, to be to reciprocity, reciprocity, not rumination, not reciprocity, equal exchange. Like, just be better people, just be kinder. The world would be better, and it would be better to you. Mm-mm. Just a thought. Just a thought. I don't digress. You know. So yeah, with this episode, with this show, I hope to catch y'all attention. I hope to wake y'all up to be a literal voice of reason, to introduce y'all to new ideas and concepts, and it just makes me feel good to be expressive. It makes me feel good to I don't know. I'm just vibing through life. I finally am figuring out the real point, and that is to just to relax, and it's so many times, it's so many people, it's so many things that we are just so pressed about. When you get this, you're gonna feel like this. When you get this guy, you're gonna feel like that. When you get this car, when you get this ring, when you get this baby, when you get this promotion, this job, this man, this throuple, this kid, this. Does anyone notice a cyclical pattern? Does anyone notice a pattern or a trend? Patterns and trends, like, I think when people start to meditate more and they start to really get their thoughts out onto paper, this is why you gotta like really get your mind right and get your thoughts out, because I don't know. Your mind is really like a battlefield. Your mind is like, they say that your mind is the enemy's playground. An idle mind is the enemy's playground. Again, I'm not the Bible thumper. I'm not the person that's gonna sit up and tell y'all, get into the Bible, get into this, get into that, read this. But I am gonna say, as for me in my house, I got me one, and I keep my journals. I keep different journals for different reasons. One may be for my thoughts, my ideas. Sorry. One may be for my thoughts, my emotions, my dreams. The other may be for something else. Or something like, it's really up to you, because you can have you can have a journal for a million different things. And some could be used for music, some could be used for venting, but typically 1 to 2, one being for thoughts and feelings, the other one being for plans and ideas. So that, amongst other things, we will continue to dive into, and I'm grateful. I'm happy. Proud of myself. Grateful for y'all. Grateful to God. I'm praying and I'm hoping that, God just get all the glory in this situation, because I'm really just, if God don't give me what to say, I'm not saying it. If He don't give me what to say, I'm not doing it. And I just pray that everybody is doing well. And if you're not doing well in this moment, we get a lot of breaths in any given day. If God is so gracious to give us the day that we have, you have thousands of breaths that you take every day, unbeknownst to you, unconsciously. But what I found through meditation, through yoga, through prayer, through journaling, is that if you just breathe, you can start over. Because every time you breathe, you have to start over. It's like your lungs, they have to reset every single time. Like, your body has to do this thing where that's why if you stop breathing, you can only last for so long. But like anytime you're breathing, you have a chance. And isn't that amazing? And this is why it's so important not to complain about not having time or not. Yes, you do. You just have to recognize where you are. And funny enough, I used to really think this, and I still stand a hill I'm willing to die on, is that God does not move. We do. And that will really make you think. Like, you gotta think. God got all these plans and things that like He has in store for you, but like people be so quick to try to get somewhere and do this and get this place and get this man and get this book, get this divine timing. You have a divine mind and you have divine timing, and you cannot get ahead of yourself. But these are all reasons. All these things are to say, get in the plan of God, get in the flow of God, get into a flow. You cannot run to man or to other people who are also imperfect beings and expect that you are going to receive clear, pristine, constant, clear clarity. It does not work like that. Because if we could genuinely gain everything from the God next to us, then who would we be serving under? What understanding are we standing under if we are all imperfect beings? Or are we all perfect beings? Maybe just something to think about. But until then, and until next time, this has been the Divine Mind Podcast. I'm your host, Simply Priceless. Be sure to watch out for me every Wednesday and every Saturday. Follow me on YouTube at the Divine Mind Podcast, or I think it's the Divine Mind Pod. And on Instagram, the Divine Mind Pod. But clearly, my handles will be listed below. So, thank y'all so much. Before I wrap this up, I just want to send well wishes and love. I want to send love to my people. That feel right. That's what I feel like I need to do right now. I want to send love to women, my sisters, my cousins, my aunties. I love y'all. I don't care if a man has not told you in a month. I don't care if you not having relations with a man right now. I don't care if you ain't got no kids. Whatever it is, I love you. You are loved. Even if you think that you are op, even if you think I'm your op, you beefing with you because I don't have oppositions. I am in alignment, and that I'm dead serious. I don't have nobody I'm beefing with. So if you watching this and you thinking whatever you thinking, because I know how y'all. Oh, I hope that didn't cut out. If you thinking, I'm not beefing with nobody. So when I say I love you and I say I want y'all to win and I say I hope y'all be easy, I mean that. But yeah, I said what I said. So I hope everybody doing good. Ladies though, I want the best for us for real. I really hope y'all are doing good. I really hope y'all are doing well. Really, really do. All my sexy Solons out there. I really I just pray that everybody's in a good space. And to my men, brothers, get into therapy. Hug your sisters. Hug your mama. Hug your kids. Stop having kids with everybody. Stop putting your penis in everything. Stop. 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 Pull it together. Push your penis up. Pull your shoulders back. Focus. Because you cannot expect women to submit and to be used by God if you are misusing your talents, abusing women, and misusing your body and your capacity. I need my men to tighten up. devil ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna say what I want to say. I need the men to tighten up. You feel me? You understand? I hope that my outfit and I hope the aesthetic makes the meal more digestible, but I'm gonna need my men to tighten up. That's why a lot of women are practicing celibacy right now and are on strike, because you know what I'm saying? Leadership skills gotta improve. We can get into the topics of submission and all that other stuff later, but like real deal, real spill, Evander Holyfield, I'm gonna need the men. I'm gonna need y'all to stand up. I need y'all to figure out, like, get y'all minds together so we can trust y'all to lead. Some of y'all got that bad. You throwing hissy fist on jail calls and only want to link with your bros and bros, like, and only you want to, you know what I mean? Y'all got to just tighten up. Hug them daughters you keep having. Hug your kids. Hug yourselves. But, like, go get your mental health together. Get that together. Pull it together. Tighten up. All this mental and sexual immorality. I'm excited to be here. That concludes episode 3. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Divine Mind Podcast. I'm your host, Simply Priceless. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe to your homegirl, to your cousin. Send us to your favorite influencer. Send us to your favorite celebrity crush. Send us to your second boyfriend. Send us to your mama. Send it to your daddy. Send it to your 2 cousins who live in West Philly. And send it to your play cousin that live in Baltimore. Send it to your homeboy in Jersey. Send it to Iceland. But like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much. Ooh, we shaking. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been the 3rd episode of the Divine Mind Podcast. And just remember, if they ain't kill you, they couldn't. And just remember that you are a divine mind and you're a divine person and you got purpose and the world loves you and people love you and I love you. So thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see y'all next week. Okay, bye. Bye. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I ain't even gonna. Shut up.